on a very innocuous slope, not a particularly steep bit, no rocks particularly, just a gravelly path. Well, at the time I didn't really remember what had happened, but my daughter was walking behind me. She said that my right foot slipped and I kind of went into a bit of a splits position, only I can't do the splits. So what happened was I landed really, really heavily on my left knee, sort of with my foot right underneath me and kind of hyperflexed my left knee, which was total agony. So I obviously fell on the path and people rushed over and tried to help me up, which I was like, God, no, leave me. I'm in agony. My husband was really calm and under sort of pressure and said, it's okay, we'll just ring for mountain rescue. It's okay. This is what they're there for. So he rang through 999, spoke to the ambulance control. They put us through to ambulance and explained the situation.
We're on station and we received a call, two separate calls to two patients on Arthur Seat. Arthur Seat is one of the common places we go, but to have two separate patients at the same time is quite unusual. We managed to locate the patients using the Walk 3 Words system, where people use the Walk 3 Words app that allows us via our control room to pinpoint them on an OS map. The patient was located on one of the rocky paths up towards the summit. We managed to reach the patient on foot. The patient had a lower leg injury, which required some pain relief. And then we, as a team, used one of our stretchers to take them down off the path and on board our Wolverine vehicle.
I swear that the first ambulance crew probably got to me. I mean, time's difficult when you're in pain and distressed, but it must have been about 40 minutes after the call. I mean, honestly, I don't know how they got there that quickly and then walked up the mountain to us. It's just amazing. And I felt so guilty with them walking up with all their heavy kit, on a hot day, in their full uniforms and whatever. So, but they were all really, really lovely, really patient, reassured me that it happened all the time and that, it was fine and it was just their job. They never once made me feel like a burden, even though I knew I was.
Arthur Seat itself, we've got a good local knowledge of the area, however it's quite a large, diverse landscape. There's certain areas we can access really quickly, there's other areas that require more specialist resources from partner agencies such as the fire service. So being able to get information quickly, we're able to form a plan and get all of our appropriate equipment that we would require to get the patient safely off the hill. Here at SORT we carry slightly different extrication equipment than you would find on a traditional ambulance. Our typical ambulance, we've got our orthopaedic stretcher and extrication board, where here at SORT we've got a basket stretcher, MIBs, skeds and other extrication equipment that we can use to assist us getting the patient safely off the hill. So we use the MIBs system so we're able to slide the patient down the hill to the waiting Wolverine, which is our off-road vehicle. Then the patient was conveyed in the Wolverine to the waiting ambulance in the car park.
Once they got the box splint on my leg, I felt a bit more confident that my leg was safe. And I said, can I move myself down to the ground? Because I just felt like I would have more control of what was happening, and they were brilliant with that. They just went, yeah, absolutely, you do whatever. And I just felt them kind of help me to do that. And then they got me secured in it, told me what was happening, moved me really, gently down the mountain. If there was an odd step or a bump to go over, they advised that I had a suck on the Penthrox, which made me laugh again. And then got me down to sort of the lowest, the level that they could reach, the four-wheel drive ambulance. I don't know if that's got a name. Once I was at that level, they then regrouped everybody and agreed how they were going to get me onto the stretcher, which they used the sort of sledge thing to lift me onto it, which worked well. I think they all agreed, and then got me secured in the ambulance. They then talked to me throughout, kept checking my obs, which were all fine, and just did an absolutely brilliant job. I think we worked out that I'd fallen at about 11:30 in the morning. We'd probably called for the ambulance at about 11:45, And I realised that when they were getting me set up in the normal ambulance to go to hospital, it was about 1:10. And I just think that's just such an amazing turnaround to go from calling for help up a mountain to being in the ambulance on the way to hospital. And I just thought, what an amazing job they all did with a smile on their face on a hot day with a load of really heavy kit and then a really heavy person to move. And not once did I feel like, I was drained on resources and, I was just super grateful, really. So that's kind of my experience, really, just how timely it was, how patient all the staff were, and just a massive thanks to everyone involved, really, for just such a kind of turning what was the worst day ever into one that ended up not being too bad after all.
Yeah, it's actually really nice to hear some feedback from patients. We are up Arthur Seat in the summer quite often, and it is good to get some feedback from patients because it's quite unusual for us actually. Once we get the patient on board the land ambulance, they're then taken to hospital, and we generally never hear back from them. So it's actually really nice to have a thank you.
At nearly 2 weeks post-injury, I'm a lot better than I feared I might be when I initially fell on that mountain. So, yeah, massive thanks to all involved, including those at Edinburgh Royal Infirmary. Thank you.